drop it. Ooh.
Well, that goes like $50. We fixed the leak in the bulkhead connector that we had last time.
We filled the surrounding part of the hole. Well, what we tried to do was fill the surrounding part of the hole with this JB weld, which is my favorite thing in the world. That didn't work because we couldn't get it even enough. So we tried to Dremel it flat. That didn't work because we couldn't get it even enough. Then we bought a washer and we took the old different kind of JB weld and put it over that JB weld and then put the washer down, and that made a nice flat surface that we could crush down. Then that didn't work. So we put the bulkhead connector on the other side, and now it doesn't leak anymore. So we're gonna put the other window on and bike pump it up and then pressure test it. And if it explodes, then we gotta do something else again.
All they need to know is the welds are leaking on the inside corners. We can't weld it back up again because it's too far inside. So we're gonna use this epoxy and stick it in the hole.
You went down to the old glue store, got this epoxy, got some syringes. So we're gonna mix up the epoxy and then stick the syringes up against the seams on the inside of there and one of the holes, and hopefully it doesn't leak anymore.
Because the Novec is like $1 billion and this space is bigger than a gallon, we need some stuff to displace the volume so we can fill up as high as we want to go. That's why we made these spacers. Also, we can mount the computer parts to it. Got the short extension cables that we're going to use to plug things into the computer. And right now I'm just going to assemble this temporarily inside the case so I know what length the cables have to be to pass through this connector, because we're going to fill this with epoxy so none of the Novik leaks out. The epoxy in this connector is dry now, so we can start assembling the computer.
In theory, everything is now going to be pressure sealed, so we're going to put it all together and then put the windows on and pressure test it one more time, because we only have enough gaskets to pressure test it twice. If it's good, then we'll fill it up. If it's not, we'll put some more goop on it and then fill it up.
It's definitely leaking out somewhere.
Really? I don't hear anything.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Ah. Everything's good except for that connector.
Well,
Everything's good except for that connector. That's pretty sick, though. How do we fix that connector? Right there. So what we're gonna do is cut the jacket off of this one cable that it's leaking out of. And then I think what Kai's idea is we're gonna dip it in epoxy and then hang it up, and hopefully the epoxy will drip down inside of the jacket enough to make it airtight. So our epoxy sleeve method seems to have worked because it's holding pressure now. We pressure tested it one more time, and it a little bit leaked out of the side, but then it seemed to stabilize at 7 psi, which is about the highest it should go.
yeah, basically that's all we needed to do. It's time to fill her up and seal her shut. In spite of our effort to fill up all the empty space around the components, we didn't do it enough because there's not enough fluid to fill up to where we needed to go.
The good news is that none of it's leaking out, which is cool. It's not creating pressure inside of it, like, needlessly. And I mean, it looks awesome. So, just gotta order another gallon, and we'll be back.